Hi and welcome to the second episode of the Money series powered by Okolea International. Today we will be talking about side hustles. Do you have a side hustle? And what are the viable options for side hustles? What you should look at when you're starting a side hustle? I'm still here with the Chief Executive of Okolea International, Mr. Peter. Thank you for gracing us again for the second episode. Maybe you could start with when people are looking for side hustles. In an era where money is never enough for people, most of the people now are looking for side hustles. What are the things we should be looking at when you want to start a side hustle? I know a couple of my friends who are always telling me I need to start a business, but they don't know where to start. So as a person looking for a side hustle, what should we be looking at?
The question of side hustle, I know a lot of people in employment want to create that second revenue stream.
Yes.
And the golden question is, what is the right side hustle for you, especially if you're still continuing with the employment?
Yes.
Everybody thinks of perhaps being an agent somewhere or starting a shop somewhere, a movie shop somewhere. I find that those areas are a bit saturated. I think there are new areas, especially by leveraging on technologies, that people can be able to create side hustles. For instance, there's an area which I've been feeling there's still more to be done, the area of deliveries. Mm-hmm. If you realize, even in food, especially for food deliveries, as a country, as the middle class grows and people become so busy, they no longer have time to go looking for, say, food during lunchtime.
Yes.
And if you realize, foreign companies are actually the one coming to fill that gap. Whereby if you want to order something, but somebody can just go and look for a good IT developer, come up with a very basic app or website, spread the word through friends, and then you can have guys ordering meals in their offices using your delivery app, and you charge them a small fee for being able to do that. So those are the kind of side hustles that we need guys to be thinking about. Agriculture is another area that is, as young guys, we for some reason, we have neglected to get into that space. People are buying land right, left, and center, but they're not adding value to it. Yeah?
They're waiting for the speculation.
They are waiting for the speculation that they can be, but speculation is not a side hustle. There are, of course, other long-term investments that as young people we need to start looking at. Shares. You look at, especially the kind of market we had last year, some shares were going down. That is an opportunity for a clever young guy to put a bit of money into those depressed shares. And 2-3 years down the line, you're able to make a killing as the rates increase. I expect, for instance, the banking shares in the next 2-3 years should increase as the government is revising the interest caps, which have depressed the supernormal earnings that the banks used to earn before. But as now those rules are reversed, 2-3 years down the line, the banks will go on to start making their supernormal profits, and the shares will rally up. So somebody who is looking to make an investment in that kind of an area could be making a very good bet.
I was really eager to start a side hustle, so I went on and started a bar. But what I learned from it, because of course it failed, like 3%, it failed at some point, because one, I wasn't there all the time. Two, the person who I had employed, and that is one thing that it's very hard, because you don't know how to dictate someone you have employed when you're not in your business. So it's so hard. For me, that was the hardest part, because I could find her buying her own stock and not selling my stock. So by the time I'm coming, I'm like, oh, my stock is there, but I have nothing.
Retail businesses are very tricky. And I say this with the best intention. If you're thinking of starting a retail business, if you yourself you're not going to be there, don't.
Okay. So retail business, you need to think twice.
You need to think twice if yourself you're not going to be there full time. It's good businesses, but it requires you to be there to supervise. Same thing with restaurant business, bar business. Those are businesses you need to start when you are committed to stopping what you are doing somewhere else and you come there full time. Exactly, because otherwise, who are you going to employ? You employ your sister, your brother, you employ your village friend. Those guys are going to steal from you. Even if they don't steal from you, their incompetence is probably going to bring the business down to the ground, and you're going to lose money. You are better off actually putting your money in much more solid investments, which have lesser return. Things like treasury bills, things like shares, as I talked about. Even lesser investment like fixed deposits in banks. They are better off than you starting a business which requires so much supervision, and you yourself you are not there to supervise that business. For me, what I say is, if you want to go into business, stop really having the mentality that you need to have your cake and eat it too. You need to be employment and still making money in a business. Jump the fence, go to the other side, start your business, run it, supervise it. Yeah. Come to Okolea International. We'll give you a loan to scale the business after you have proven that you can start and be able to run it for a while. We give loans to everybody. Somebody who starts a Mama Boga kiosk, we give them a loan. Somebody who's running a small retail center, when they are fully on board, we give them loans to scale up.
What are the other hurdles you need to look at when you're starting a business?
So technology, as we have said, is a very good way to leverage on existing sectors to be able to make money, even when you're employed. Because the good thing about technology is the ability to track every aspect of your business remotely, as compared with traditional businesses like retail businesses. So that's why I'm really advocating for people to look at how they can use technology to, like for instance, if you must sell things, it is okay. But why don't you do e-commerce instead? Instead of opening a small shop whereby you cannot be able to track who is coming, who is buying, start e-commerce. With e-commerce, you're able to see when a customer orders for a product. You're able to see when the order is processed. You're able to see when the order is dispatched. And you're able to actually see when the payment is made using mobile money or even normal traditional banking channels like Visa. That way you have absolute control over the operations and on the money side, even when you are in a 8 to 5 job somewhere else. Technology can help you at any level. You don't need to do a big feature company like Okolea at the scale that we do it. Yes. You can start small.
Did you
a small e-commerce. No. I'm not saying it's a good thing for employed people to have side hustles, but I belong to a school of thought whereby that if you want to do a business, you need to grow a pair. And you need to quit, you need to go and take a little bit of your savings, and you need to go and start a business and run it full time. It is not easy, I can tell you. You must make sacrifices. And that's why most business people don't understand. To start a business, you must be willing to make sacrifices. You must be willing to move to a smaller house. You must be willing to eat ugali skuma every day. You must be willing even to skip a few meals like I did in my entrepreneur journey. But what I can say is, nobody said it was going to be easy. All they promised, and I am a testament to that, is that it was going to be worth it. So people must be willing to make that sacrifice, jump to entrepreneurship, go through the hardships, fail very fast, learn very fast, and that, Kangede, is the only way you succeed.
Why is failure important in entrepreneurship? And why is failure important even when you're starting a side hustle? It could fail. I'm not saying that it could work immediately.
I like that question. Let me tell you, failure is a must. I do not see any scenario where Kangede, you are going to quit employment and you succeed in your first attempt. I don't see it. I have looked, I have tried, there's no scenario. You will fail. And you must fail in order to succeed. Failure is important because it shows you where the loopholes are. It shows you where where the obstacles are, and it allows you to learn lessons which cannot be taught in a university. So if you do not fail, you do not learn. So if you do not learn, how can you succeed? Because the lessons allow you to streamline future businesses based on the lessons that you learned by failing somewhere. For instance, if you failed because you couldn't get a loan before, and you couldn't get the loan because you didn't have good books, in your next venture, I can tell you are going to have the most impeccable books of any business in this country. If lack of discipline, like what happens with most businesses, lack of discipline is what brings small businesses down. When you fail based on the fact that you are indisciplined in your other business, in your next business, when you make money, my friend, you will not be touching the company money because you will know the failure which you experienced and the bad circumstance that failure takes you, and you're not willing to do it again. So yes, failure is very important for success. The more you fail, the closer you get to success. And the more you learn, the higher your chances of succeeding in a bigger way later on in life.
When is the right time to start a business, especially if you want to start a side hustle? Do you have to wait until when is the right time?
No, there is no right time to start a business. However, there are a few things that you can consider before starting a side hustle. For instance, you can look at when do you want to exit employment. Say if it is 3 years time, ask yourself what do you want to do and how long will it take to succeed. If that business will take 3 years to become self-sustaining and give you the lifestyle you need, then the best time to start the business is today. The other thing is saving. I recommend starting a business using your savings. So if you want to start a business, then you need to ask yourself how much do you need. Then you need to sit down and calculate how much can you spare per month to put in savings in order to arrive at that number you need to start your business. So the right time then for you, Kang'ethe, will be when you hit the number of saving you need to start that particular business. But if you want to exit employment and go and start a business full time, I recommend that you save at least enough money, not only to start that business, but at least to live on for 6 months. Calculate the expenses, your rent, your school fees, your food. How much do you need to survive 6 months, even without your business making you any money? Put that money aside. Put the money to start a business aside. Once that money is there, file your resignation notice, quit, go and start your business.
What have you learned through your entrepreneurship journey? What are the major lessons you've learned about starting a business and growing a business?
I've started a few businesses in the past, before we started Okolea, me and my partners. And I failed in most of those businesses, and I learned a lot of things. But for me, as I said, what I learned mostly is that number one, the company's money is not your money. It is not, Kang'ethe. And I'm telling you that is what is causing most businesses to fail in this country. Separate the company's finances with their own finances, reinvest all the company's finances towards the growth of the business. Success requires a team. Either partners who could be shareholders or directors, or hiring the right people in order to grow the business. Bring partners on board, bring a board in place, convince and inspire a team of employees to come on place, even with a smaller salary and the promise of paying them better in the future. Inspire this whole team to work collectively together towards a higher goal, and then you can truly achieve something amazing.
So you can never do it on your own?
You can't do it alone.
How do you make sure that the business is viable?
So that's a very good question. This country and even this world is full of so many businesses that fail in the first few months. The first reason, as you are saying, is having a product that no one wants. Nobody wants that product, by the way. You think people want it. So what you could do before you launch a product to the larger market, talk to a few of your friends, talk to your relatives, see whether you can convince a few people to buy the product. Ask for feedback from those first buyers of why they bought the product or they did not buy it, and let them give you feedback as to how to improve the product. Then go back to the drawing table and improve the product. And if nobody wants the product, don't launch it. If you're convinced that the idea can work, launch what we call in our industry a minimum viable product, MVP. MVP is simply don't spend so much time and resources building a product to perfection before releasing it to the market. Release the product to the market. Let people consume the market. Listen to feedback from customers. And IT, there's so many analytics that help you get this feedback. If people now are consuming the product in a bigger way, if your user numbers are growing, if they are returning customers, go back and hire a team or improve the capacity of the existing team to build the product beyond what it was when you released it, and then scale from there. But do not assume a product is so viable that you go and take a 10 million loan, take a big office, hire a big team, work on the product for 2 years, then release it to the market in a big launch, and then you wonder why 1 year down the line
it's not
the business
working.
has closed.
Yeah.
Remember, when you're younger, you have more energy, you have more flexibility, and you have lesser needs, so you have the ability to absorb the hardships and obstacles, overcome them, and succeed. But success is hard, my friend. Success is very hard.
Please give us your feedback on what you think we should talk about at the bottom line of this video. Let us know whether it has helped you and what you want us to talk about in our subsequent videos. Thank you very much. Till next time.